Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a totally wild 2018 spiritual revelation. It claims to pull back the curtain on the esoteric history of the Mediterranean from exactly 7,000 years ago. We're talking ancient empires, massive geological cataclysms, and, weirdly enough, some very modern grievances. Let's get right into it.
Imagine this. You're a legendary, immensely powerful ruler. You oversee a literal golden age. You build an empire that shapes the world. And then you look down millennia later just to find out that modern media got your look completely wrong. Keep that thought in the back of your mind, because we're going to see exactly how that frustration plays out a bit later.
So, we're looking at a text by Ryuho Okawa. It records a channeled spiritual message from January 17, 2018, from an entity named Ophearis, who the text actually associates with the ancient Egyptian god Osiris. What's so fascinating here is how this revelation mixes these descriptions of massive world-altering geological shifts with highly personal, almost casual complaining from a being claiming to be an ancient god-king.
Rebuilding after Atlantis.
Okay, setting the stage. Chapter 2 of this text claims that after the legendary continent of Atlantis sank, the survivors had to flee eastward. They eventually pushed into the Mediterranean basin, desperately trying to plant the seeds of a brand new era on the shores of northern Africa and southern Europe. This wasn't just, a slow, steady start. It was this frantic, intense period of rebuilding human civilization. And the timeline we're dealing with here is just incredibly broad. We start about 10,400 years ago in the literal ashes of Atlantis, then we jump to this booming golden age 7,000 years ago centered in Greece and Egypt, and then somehow we bridge all the way to a very specific anime depiction in 1997. It's a massive spanning of eras.
The Empire of Ophearis.
During this dynamic era, 7,000 years ago, a central leader named Ophearis supposedly rose to unprecedented power. And he wasn't just ruling some small, isolated city-state. The text outlines a highly advanced empire that spanned modern-day Athens and Greece, deep down into Egypt, over to Italy, stretching up into northern Europe and all the way across to Turkey and Syria. I mean, an absolute behemoth of ancient geopolitical dominance. And to understand how this massive empire actually functioned, you have to look at the regions. Egypt was basically the engine, providing the inland agricultural wealth and those vital trade routes along the Nile River. Meanwhile, Greece and the island of Crete acted as the maritime outposts, which were absolutely crucial for defending the empire and expanding sea trade. Even northern Europe was brought into the fold to spread the empire's cultural and political influence. It was a perfectly balanced system.
The absolutely crucial takeaway the source emphasizes is this. During this era, this combined Greek and Egyptian civilization represented the pinnacle of human advancement. They were the undisputed centers of the world, fostering a highly advanced society that had, in their eyes, successfully resurrected the lost glory of Atlantis.
The Santorini eruption.
Now, if you look at the Aegean Sea today, it looks incredibly calm and beautiful. But the spiritual record describes a sudden, absolutely world-altering natural disaster that struck right at the heart of Ophearis' maritime trade network. It hides a very violent geological past right beneath those waves.
The destruction unfolded unbelievably fast. First, the Minoan civilization on the island of Crete is enjoying this period of unprecedented prosperity and trade. But then, out of nowhere, a catastrophic volcanic eruption hits the nearby island of Santorini. This triggered widespread land subsidence and these colossal tsunamis that just completely devastated the region, dealing a fatal blow to the Cretan society.
And what's really fascinating is how the revelation actually anchors this esoteric history to real-world archaeology. It explicitly points to the ruins of the Palace of Knossos in Crete as the physical, tangible remnants of this sudden, tragic cataclysm that wiped out the entire Aegean arm of Ophearis' empire.
A god's anime complaint. Now, pivoting from ancient destruction to modern-day reflections, it turns out Ophearis had a very relatable human grievance to get off his chest. Right after detailing the fall of his ancient empire, the spiritual message records him literally complaining about how he's depicted in modern media today.
Specifically, he took major issue with his character design in a 1997 anime film produced by Happy Science. The contrast here is just amazing. The spiritual message claims Ophearis passionately protested being drawn as a bald, old man with a long beard. He asserted, quite forcefully I might add, that during his actual reign 7,000 years ago, he was a remarkably handsome, vibrant, and young leader who commanded his massive territory with vigor. So apparently even a legendary ancient god king cares deeply about his PR and modern media representation.
So bringing it all together, we've explored a truly massive narrative presented in this 2018 revelation. We've got civilization desperately rebuilding in the Mediterranean after the fall of Atlantis. We have the claims of Ophealis ruling a highly advanced, multi-continental empire bridging Greece and Egypt. We covered the tragic, sudden, volcanic ruin of the Cretan trade hub at Santorino. And finally, we discovered a legendary figure's very modern vanity regarding his anime character design.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. If history is indeed written by the survivors, how much of our human story and the true, vibrant faces of the leaders who actually lived it is still waiting to be discovered out there beneath the waves? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning what we know about the past.